Welcome to Beats and Beyond podcast, where we explore electronic music beyond the beats and delve deeper into the producer's mindset. This is a special episode where I've invited my friend Ryan Razza Harris to be a guest host to interview me. My hope is that this gives you a chance to get to know me a little better and to find out what my motivations are and why I'm so passionate about music, DJ culture, and the process behind creating dance music that moves your feet and inspires your mind. So without further ado, welcome, Razza. Thanks for being my guest host today.
My pleasure, Laughlin. Thanks for having me on, bud.
Nice to see you.
To Beats and Beyond. What a great name.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah, dude, I really like it. And great to be here and learn more about yourself and let your listeners learn more about you and what you're doing and support the show. I think it's awesome. I really like the subject matter. It's I'm passionate about music. A lot of our friends and cats out there are, and I think it's important. Also, where we're going globally, with the psyche, the morale of the world, we're going to need music to pull us out of this. Wherever we are. You're a DJ, you're a musician, you're a producer for like over 40 years or 30 years. Sorry, 40. I'm gonna freak you out here, dude.
I didn't start when I was
Unless
10.
you were like a child prodigy, you probably were. I know you love music.
Maybe.
Your handle's DJ Boomtown. Love that. Boomtown.com if anyone wants to check it out. You make music.
Boomtownsound.com.
What is it?
Boomtownsound.com.
So there it is for anyone who wants to check it out. You make music, you play music, and you've launched Beats and Beyond podcast. I love it. Right. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Tell us more about the motivation behind Beats and Beyond podcast, my friend.
Well, as you said, I've been a producer now. I think I started with Ableton 6.5, or maybe it was 5.5. And yeah, I just wanted to, my time as a DJ, I've gotten to know a lot of electronic music producers and DJs. And I love the music, and my goal is to unearth their process a little bit, to reveal what's behind, their motivation to produce music, to DJ, to play at festivals, to play at clubs, to grow dance culture. And I just want to see what's going on under the hood of, inside the brain of music producers, ideally Canadian producers, but I want to interview international producers as well. So yeah, people who make music, and particularly electronic music.
Love it. I love it. And what's your background in music as far as like allowing you to find and navigate the questions to crack into their the mind of these artists?
Yeah, well, I mean, my music career started, I guess, kind of more in rock. I played in bands, cover bands, started in high school. I didn't even play an instrument. I was a singer. It was the first thing I did when I was on stage. First show I ever did was to my entire high school at a pep rally assembly for the football team. And I had like 500 screaming teenagers at the end of my show. And I was hooked. I was hooked on the audience connection. The juice. Yes.
Yes, you need.
I got a taste. And it was that was it. Okay.
A deer in headlights, creative headlights. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. The teachers complained. And so at the next show we did at the student assembly, I got my friends to stand at all the entrances of the door with earplugs. It's like, it might be loud. It might be loud. This is going to be a rock concert.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
that
you
was,
got a taste, and it was bands that got you going, and then
yeah,
when did you hit the electronic scene? When did you when did you kind of switch over, or like really find more of a
yeah.
passion for DJing or that kind of transition?
Yeah, I think my first taste of, electronic music in the traditional rave sense was I went to a massive warehouse party in Toronto. I'm from Ontario originally. I went to this club called the Gouvernement, and I think it was like 5,000 people in there,
Wow.
and it was unbelievable. It was just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
This was mid '90s. It might have been 1994 or five, and I just could not believe the energy. Just people dancing, and just like how nice everybody was, and it was just something that blew my mind. It blew my mind. Needless to say, it blew my mind, and I thought, what is this? But then I continued to play in bands, and it wasn't until I actually moved here, Salt Spring Island, and started going to some of the interchill parties, and I saw Adam Shake play, and that's when I thought, I want to do what this guy is doing. I want to play music. He was doing a lot more DJ sets back then. He's more of a live set guy now, but he was doing a lot more DJ sets. I think he was weaving in his own beats at the same time. And yeah, so that was 2007 was probably when I moved in with a friend who had a pair of CD DJs and a mixer and set up in the living room, and I had a massive CD collection. So I started on CDJs, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, we all have a story back when it started. Mine was 5,000 people too, but it was a beach on uh, Copan Gang at the Full Moon Party, 96. And I just came out of the
Whoa.
bushes, just had no idea. 5,000 people just laying down from around the world. Just, I'm going, what is this? You're right. Friendly, loving, let's go. And yeah, that began my journey in electronic music as well. And we love the
I,
Sonic Turtle, Adam Shake. Nice, we're giving him a plug. Also, a true legend and just a master at just working the crowd and laying down the beats, and a real treasure in BC here, man. Just a big shout out to him. I love that
yeah,
we've included him. He would be great. You should talk to him, dude. You got to
yeah,
get at him.
he's on the list. He's on the list. He's on my
It's on
list
the
of
list. I
people I
like it.
want
So
to
there's a
interview.
list. There's a list. Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
man. So what message are you trying to convey, or information you want to throw down to your audience? What's the plan here?
Yeah, well, ideally, it's a little bit of, I want to promote the BC scene for sure, but I've been lucky to play in the US as well, and there's some brothers and sisters down there that I want to also highlight in my podcast. Yeah, I want people to just get a sense, we've all had that dance experience
Mm-hmm.
where we're on the dance floor, but not everybody gets to meet and talk a little bit more intimately to these music producers, and I want them to find out like what it takes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work
Mm-hmm.
to produce a
Sure.
really beautiful piece of electronic music. It's like, and sometimes it can be super quick. Sometimes you can just get on a roll, and you hit some luck, and you have just all the right sounds, and it all comes together. But everybody does it differently. Everybody, some people are into hardware and have like a wall of synthesizers and drum machines, and some people are more into software and producing inside of a DAW, which is a digital audio workstation. And yeah, I want people to get to know some of their favorite artists a little bit better and understand the process of making music.
That's interesting. I just wrote down process. That's it, right? You want to get in their noggin. You want people to understand that it's just what they're watching, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing isn't just like super easy to just kind of just come out and do. Like months of prep, right? Like there's a lot of thought that goes into making music, putting the right tracks together, the vibe they're going for, also being able to pivot, go lateral, depending on the mood of the
Yeah.
room, and
Yeah.
and also how they decompress or how they also leave the event and kind of think how they can get better. They hit the studio, they go back, they know what works, what doesn't work. I really like where you're going with this because a lot of you're right. It's easy to hit an event and dance and enjoy it, and obviously we have our favorites, and we know when the mood's right or the right people are there, and the experience is memorable. But that just doesn't happen. There's a lot of hard work behind that and the process.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, and there's a little bit of selfish motivation as well. Like I want to improve my production process. I want to learn from my peers, but also ideally further down the line, I would love to be able to talk to some real top notch producers who just have and might maybe some insights into the creative process as well. That's a whole other the psychological creative process, not just the gear and the technical stuff, but also the motivations and the creative process and I guess mindset. I really want to explore yeah, what each individual's way of and passion towards getting to the finish line in terms of producing a track or an album or maybe a cinematic piece. I know a lot of some producers, they produce their own music, but they also help other artists produce music as well.
Yes, the collaboration. At really good point there. I'd be really curious about. That's a great angle that you've got there to also like learn yourself, get better yourself, and by interviewing these guests and getting to know their what inspires them, how they use and draw things from other art, maybe film or other music they hear or experiences, like how they approach it. I really like where you're going with this, man. This is awesome. This is a great.
Well, yeah, and the other sort of happy accident of the sort of the word producer, I also want to talk to festival producers as well. So probably like every fifth episode or so, I'm hoping to talk to somebody who's like a festival producer or organizer who's just another, I guess, part of, essential part of the scene, essential part of the matrix of music and dancing culture and bringing people together in celebration. I love talking to those people they get a little bit more meta in terms of not Facebook meta, but meta in terms of the larger overview of what it takes to bring people together and curate a festival experience that uplifts the human spirit and and just really gives people that sense of belonging and that sense of creative expression. There's not just musical art happening at those, there's a lot of every kind of art happening.
We all know the world needs a lot more of that, buddy, huh?
Yeah.
After the great pause, that's what I call it.
Yeah, the great pop.
Festivals were,
Yeah,
rocking. The festivals were just
I know.
really peaking, and what a shame there was this pause and a little bit of a
Yeah.
disconnect. But they're needed now more than ever. And I like where you're going with the festival. You and I have even talked about this. We'll get into it a bit later as we're chatting about that festival culture, how important it is. And like you said, there's a lot of different producers here from a lot of of the wider spectrum of the world of music, right? Like you said, like the
Yeah.
producers of a festival, the producers of an album, the
Yeah.
producers of just a track, or the producers of an event. I like it. I really like it.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, but based on that, let's do a little dive, bud, into like, yeah, how important in
Yeah.
these crazy times is music to the world. Like we're on to like, this is, I think it's a healing, has healing qualities, healing powers, music. No?
Yeah, I agree. I know from my own personal experience as a participant in the culture, not just as a DJ, or I helped produce a couple festivals back in the day, Earth Dance Victoria, and I was on the management team at VEMP for a couple of years as well, managing the interactive and workshop stage. I even got to MC at one time. But yeah, there's something, I think there's something in dance, movement, exercise, and I'm not gonna lie as well. There's something in, I guess, what's the right way to say this, in the sustainable use of psychedelic substances that opens the mind, opens the heart, opens the, it's not required, it's not a required
Yeah.
part of the scene, but it's there, and it's been a major part of my journey in terms of exploring the psyche and the potential of human connection beyond the norm and the status quo and the sort of the boxes we live in. I like to think of festivals and dance culture creating freedom autonomous zones where people can really be self-expressed and be accepted for who they are. And that, to me, is a really important part. Without, people need to be careful. Drugs can be taken to an extreme that I've lost a lot of really good close friends to addiction and overuse, and it's, so it's a fine line. It's a careful edge to tread, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that was a big part of what opens people up and opens people's minds, and then that's part of the healing process.
Yeah, you're bang on when it comes to, of course, I call them marshmallows. All of it, the whole spectrum. All the goodies, all the things that the experience itself. We'd be sitting here and be fools not to be talk about that it is, or talk, or and include it as something that is very much a part of that culture. And Steve Jobs created Apple on acid, right? I mean, there's a lot of there's, and that box you're talking about, it's the parameters, or the man-made construct. People do have to explore, and these tools and these ceremonies. For me, it's always been more of a ceremony. Of course, everyone has to be safe, and it's important to mention that. Again, I've lost some dear friends too, and but like anything, you lose people doing on the space program too, Laughlin, don't you? Huh? You want to launch a rocket to Mars? You're going to lose a couple astronauts, and that's just worth the exploration to grow as a
Yeah.
culture. And this is an exciting time for music. It's an exciting time for festivals. An exciting time to be a producer, be making music, or to be a DJ, or to be a participant, like a dancer, and somebody that is opening up. I really think it's an important part of this artistic revolution coming, because there's no other way, in my opinion. Really, the system's broken.
Yeah.
System's totally broken. Yeah, marshmallows. That's what I call them, bud. Marshmallows. Hey, do you have any marshmallow? Can you handle your marshmallows in the middle of a DJ set? That's a question.
I've had a few, I've had a few DJ sets where, yeah, maybe a few too many marshmallows were involved, and it only had to happen to me 2 or 3 times, and then it's like, no, 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 not anymore, not anymore. No, I'm definitely on the other side of my. I used to like to call it my rave tunnel. I'm out. I'm out of the rave tunnel now.
Nice.
I'm not in the rave tunnel anymore. I love rave music. I still want to go to raves, but I don't. I'm not a big. Yeah, I don't really participate in that way anymore. At least not definitely not while I'm DJing, and definitely not it's a different time now for me. I'm middle aged. I just had my 50th birthday, and I've got kids. I've got responsibilities, and so the party is just like just a little bit more sustainable and chill. And I still love dancing. I still love music. I'm addicted to DJing excellent music. I'm addicted to making people dance, or at least facilitating people dancing. And yeah, I quit drinking about 4 months ago, and
Good for you,
it feels
bud.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I was never a huge drinker, but it was always sort of there. If you're in a club or if you're in a party or something, it was always something I always had a few beers or a few drinks. But I'm kind of excited to be on a little bit more of a cleaner
well, you need your
version
energy.
of
I think it's all based on energy, and so's the build in a set. To talk about the peaks in a set, or when you're making a track, energy. That's a key word we can get into here. But yeah, you're also probably heading into you have this quest to interview producers and to get
yeah.
this is you're entering the producer chapters. I think of your musical journey. It sounds like and. You're going to be a great host. I like that you're inquisitive, that you have all this experience from all the realms, right? All the different, you can't just see it as a dance floor. You can't just see it from the perspective of a
No.
DJ. You can't just see it from the perspective of a promoter, like, handing out envelopes in the parking lot to secret police, just saying, look, give us a few more hours, huh? Just like, look at these people. They're happy. Really? I mean, you want how much? Yeah, how many bribes? Do you have a bribe story?
No, I've never had any bribe stories, but I had a friend who he started a rave collective, and
Okay.
he registered himself as a church, and basically basically all the people who would show up were showing up to worship at this church of beats. And so when the cops would show up, he'd show them his register is like
Oh
his
my God.
is basically his church license, and this was our
Love
celebration,
it.
our form. This is how they and they couldn't do anything.
That's
They couldn't
brilliant.
stop
That's
them.
brilliant.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I was part of that collective for a while, and it was like
I have
amazing.
bribe stories because I was an event promoter in Mumbai, India. All like we threw a couple shows all around Goa and Pune too. Like, but every time we had the envelope ready, they were coming.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, no, it was just part of like my first gig. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, what's going on here? And we got to pay the guy. What guy? The cops. What do you mean the cop? You just give him the envelope and we keep going. Okay, well, do you mind if he brings the CDJ back? Yeah, well, okay, well, we'll give him the envelope first, then we get the CD. Okay, got it. So yeah,
yeah.
it's an interesting thing, the dance culture and
I guess.
the psyche, like you're saying about like all these. There's so many fun stories. That's what you're gonna probably get into on your show. You're gonna be able to get a lot of really fun stories also out of these people you interview, and there's all and there's so much fun and joy around music and the scene and create and creating and sharing and I get it, brother. I get it. You've been producing music. I hear you're about to release some new music. Trip the System. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so just before the whole pandemic pause, as you
The great pause,
like to
bud.
put
The
it,
great pause.
the great pause, I formed a band with some friends of mine, and we started out like absolutely, it was like a no pressure environment. We were like, let's just jam, like let's just make music to make music, no goals, no pressure, no, I mean, so much of my music career has been, we got to do this. We got to play, Shambhala, or we got to do this. We got to tour. We got to make music. We got to make a statement or something like that. And this band, we're like, no, we've all done that. We're all like, we just want to make music. And so, yeah, I guess that was, yeah, just over 4 years ago. And, so it was very experimental at first. I'd say it's still a little bit experimental, but it's really coalesced, and it's just been this slow building, building the system, building the music, building our process. Um, and so yeah, we're hoping to release our first track at the end of the month. There's been a few little kind of hiccups in my process. I basically figured out I need to start a publishing company to be able to release my music and own like that whole other half of the royalties. So I'm in that process now with my bandmate Jesse Cullen, and we lost our drummer. He moved back to Grenada, but we're still in. Yeah, no, he didn't
It just
die. We didn't
yeah.
lose him that way.
Well, thank God. And he's moved back to Grenada. Like I didn't see that coming. The drummer went
Yeah.
back to Grenada. Yeah. Of course. Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been excited. We've been exciting. Sorry, because now we're just spending, instead of jamming and recording and writing, we're just like, okay, we got to finish the music. Let's finish the music. So the goal is to finish one song every month and release it, put it out into the world, and yeah. So watch out for that.
Where
Trip
where
the
where are we gonna
system.
find that? Where is that on Boomtown Sound or somewhere else?
Um, It's going to be on all major streaming platforms. Yeah, you'll be able to find it on Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah, we're just using like a distribution aggregator that basically puts it to, like, I don't know, like something like 140 streaming platforms.
Oh my God, it's so interesting nowadays and how fast it's moving. Hey, Lachlan, like it's
Oh yeah,
amazing what you can do now. Like anybody, it's. I don't
oh yeah,
mean anybody can do, but I do mean anybody. I mean, like obviously, there you can't judge the music because the music doesn't judge you, right? Of course, but
yeah.
whether it's
No,
good,
anybody can.
or not, totally subjective. Sorry, I'm just pumping some. I'm just representing music there because everyone has their own taste, right? But it's
Yeah.
amazing how fast it's moving, and it's exciting
Well,
for
so
artists.
did I.
It's exciting.
No,
Like if you want to make music, you're almost out
yeah.
of excuses, really. No.
Oh yeah, I think and maybe some people might disagree with me. People get really upset about like streaming services like Spotify, but like, I don't see it, like, I'm not trying to make money off Spotify. That's not where I'm going to make money. And I mean, unless you're, Daft Punk or
Mm-hmm.
Dead Mouse or,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's some people who make money because they got well over like 1 billion streams or whatever it is. But it's an incredible marketing tool, and it's an incredible way to get your music out. And it's, I think what is happening in the music industry right now is pushing us to be more creative about how we solve these sort of issues. I think, touring is definitely got to be one way, but there's a lot of ways that you can monetize your music and your content in different ways. And I'm excited about exploring that process. Again, it's not, it'd be nice and make some money, but it's not the focus. The focus is we all have families in the band, we all have jobs. and it's just we just want to make music, and hopefully people like it. Hopefully we find an audience for that music. But yeah, no, tripthesystem.com.
Okay.
We're probably gonna have Bandcamp. And yeah, so the website should be launched at the same time as when the music goes out. And yeah, and it's Trip with 2 P's.
Trip with 2 P's. Got it. I want to add a Y just because of the lighting behind me.
Oh, yeah.
What else is
Okay.
cooking in your producer mind, bud? You got anything else in the in the works, we're in the rave tunnel? you got, I mean,
I'm not going
yeah,
back
you're
in,
not.
Razza.
Don't
I'm
go
not
back.
going back in.
So what else? What else would you ask producers, dude? What else would you ask? Like, give us some more about what this podcast would. You want to get into the mindset? I like that word, the mindset.
Yeah. I'll tell you something I kind of like to do every once in a while. Like, I don't know maybe it's my own like
Did I
weird
trigger
process,
something? Are you
but I'm
having a
always asking,
flashback
like,
to the rave tunnel?
no,
Is it just makes you?
I like to ask. Yeah, I like to ask everybody, are you pissed off about the sync button? Because
Of course.
anybody can anybody can fucking DJ now, like and so I like
I like that.
finding it's like, and then
Signature
it's like,
question. You got a signature
I get a lot of
question.
good I get
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
like
good
it.
answers from
I
that,
like it.
it's like,
That's a great question.
you know
That's a
there was no sync button when I started
yeah.
DJing, and a lot of like, my vintage of DJs, like, it's like
But
beat matching
you
is
you and
hard.
I are similar.
Okay,
You
like,
you and I are similar ages too. Like, did you ever have to hand out CDs? I mean, like, how fast is this? How fast
oh
is this
yeah.
moved? Like, it's insane. Like, even
Oh, I know.
the
No,
one hit
Razza,
wonder, like that whole progression of music, incredible. Like, even
dude,
just yeah,
you could go to an AI. You could right now, Razza. You could go to an AI website. You could write a paragraph about what you want your music to sound like, and AI will make you a track, and you could put it out there, and it's like Ryan Razza
okay, I gotta
Harris
go.
and
I gotta
AI.
go, dude. Okay, yeah, yeah. I'll see. Just put me on the label. Can I? I need. I'm just gonna go whip a couple tracks up. Right. I'm the first one's gonna be called Rave Tunnel. Are you okay with
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, fine. As long as okay. So in my research around publishing music,
Or my
you can name your track the same title as any other track out there.
really
Like if you look up Stairway to Heaven, there's like 40 Stairway to Heavens by like 40 different artists that are, and Zeppelin
DJ
can't.
Trainwreck, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
great
yeah, it
name.
is. Yeah, there was a guy. We had a
A
guy
guy
that
called
just
DJ
come. He came
Trainwreck.
in. He killed the dance floor all the time, but he had the gear, so we had no choice. We had to invite him because he had the gear. And then when he played, he just cleared the dance floor. But he didn't know we called him DJ Trainwreck, so it was all between us. Um, More stories, dude. Festivals, like any. I got a question for you because I know that
Okay.
you also have really good understanding of the gear and you've tacked and you understand so many aspects of music. Have you ever been about to plug in the whole sound system and light up the room and realized everyone was standing in water?
That's never happened to me.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
never
okay. Well,
happened to
I
me.
don't know. I just thought I'd start there. Any gigs gone? Anything weird like dinosaurs attacking a venue, or can anything come to mind where there was a?
I got a good one. I was about Squamish mile, what is it? What was it? Mile 38, 37,
There's some
39 mile.
spots out the back. Is that you talking about?
Okay.
Just yeah, sneaky,
So I
sneaky.
went
Yeah,
my first rave in 1999 in BC. So this is my first BC rave.
love the
Went to
BC
mile
rave
37.
scene.
I think it was mile 37 up in Squamish. And I get to this rave, and nobody's dancing. And I was like, what is going on? The music is fantastic. The DJ's playing, the sound system's up. And then, I took some acid and I was like, And then finally it dawned on me. The whole dance floor was covered in those stupid round rocks, like this big. And so nobody, like I said, I noticed like a couple girls trying to kick them out of the way. And so I took off my shirt and I started piling rocks into my shirt and dragging them off the dance floor. And then a couple other dudes figured out like that. Well, this guy figured it out. And we literally like cleared the entire dance floor and everybody started dancing, and it was like amazing because it was all ankle breakers.
Oh,
It was
dude,
like
I know about the
they're
ankle
all like
breakers.
perfectly round stones. You know, like all those round stones on the Squamish River.
I know it well. That's a
And
great.
so we cleared the dance floor, and then in the morning when the sun came up, the friggin' mandala, the pattern of the dance floor was this incredible thing, right? Because everybody had stomped the soft stand down to the next level of rocks, and it was the trippiest thing I ever saw. It was incredible.
There was an
It was
actual
like,
pattern.
yeah, there was some weird pattern,
That's
and I was like,
hilarious.
well, that's me. I made that pattern.
Yeah, you did. And then some guy's like, "Hey, look, is this a fossil?" Yeah, that's I got a dance floor story actually. So I'm in Laskidi, you know. You and I are both very familiar with the BC dance festival
Yeah.
scene, and especially at these remote places and these really cool venues. Being an old head into the forest promoter myself, go the generators, yes. um I was dancing and this guy had built this dance floor. He put the it's almost like a skin or like something you would put on buildings or something to make the floor. It was like, but it was a little thicker. It was really good that he laid it down on the grass. But he had this fake moat in the middle of his property, and on the right side of the dance floor, it dipped. It just went down like this, okay, into the moat. So now it's like 3 a.m. I'm high as fuck. I'm fucking dancing my ass off, and all of a sudden, I just feel myself just go right. Like my right leg kind of catches the lip, and then I'm going in the water. I'm going in the moat. Like no one can see me. And I just reach out for anything at all. And I just grab this furry thing. This thing just yelps, jumps up. And I grabbed a sleeping dog.
Oh my
And
god.
it saved me from going in this pond. And the dog's looking at me, and I'm looking at the dog. And I'm like, "Oh my god, you sit!" And the dog's like, "I do not give a fuck what is going on." And I'm like, "You don't understand. You were like a dog from heaven." Dog spelled backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty funny story,
Yeah.
dude. I do like that story a lot. What are
Was
the
that a
odds?
Lascidia escape?
Mystic,
Was that
Mystic.
a
Hey, why don't we
Lascidia
start a
escape?
series, Mystic Dance Floor Experiences, or something like that? Like a little,
Yeah.
right into you,
I like that.
Laughlin.
That could be like, yeah, what was your most mystical experience on a dance
Love
floor?
it, love it. Because we've all been there, no matter where you are. This is what's interesting about where you're going with your podcast. You know,
Yeah.
there's just such a journey. That's the best way to say it. You're going to really pick
Yeah.
the brains of these guys, and it's a journey because I think all of them would have started with an experience like you and I are talking about. That first time we danced with 5,000 people, and we just felt that connection, felt that love, felt
Yeah.
the everyone dancing to the same beat too, the same rhythm. You know, it's one guy. I'll tell you this. Just came to mind. Speaking of dance floor stories, I'm in Amsterdam, and there's like 3,000 people, and this is like it looks like a cruise ship. It's got a tunnel kind of vibe to it. There's a lot of people and multi-layered, and this guy had a button underneath the turntables, and he would hit the house lights. And everybody went mental. So because you can see everyone, your dance is dark, and then he pounds the house lights, so simple, and turn them off. And then you're like, what the? Everyone's ripped into a frenzy just from the house lights. And then, of course, you forget about it. And then 30 minutes later, he does it again. And then
Yeah.
everybody you can see everyone just for a brief moment. You can see who's around you. Everyone's making eye contact. Really clever
That's cool.
trick, dude. Really, really clever.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. That's it's, been in this scene for so long, and that's definitely one of my questions is like, how do we innovate?
Mm.
How do we make it fresh again? Because I think the scene has been going through a bit of a lull as well. Like not like, and I'm talking like pause, pre the great pause. Like there was a bit of a lull, a bit of a like. It's like, okay, it's still happening, people still love it, and yet it's like, okay, it's another DJ. Oh yeah, well, there's a million DJs. Just like, and I don't mean to sound jaded, because I do still feel positive about music and the culture, but I wonder, like, what can we do to innovate the experience to and it doesn't have to go like higher. It could go lower. It could go sideways. It could go laterally, like you were saying earlier. Like, what can we do to engage and sort of create something new out of the scene, and I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I'm curious about, if in this journey of interviewing some of the tastemakers and heads and people that have just been at it for a long time, wonder what kind of ideas they have, and then also like there's so much new technology emerging right now. Like what is like how is AI going to affect the dance floor and how we interact and how we communicate and how
Sure.
how we curate the rave tunnel.
I like that. Curate the rave tunnel. Really good point. That's interesting because these guys are also who you're going to have on the show. They're going to have been will have traveled. They will have seen things in other countries. Maybe they've been to like events in Turkey or Greece, or been in caves, or like been on a barge, somewhere. Like, it's really interesting what you're saying. It might go totally Tron, man. It might be interactive. I like this fresh vibe where it's going to go. You're right. And you know what? We're going to figure it out. A lot of smart cats in the dance culture, in the scene, producers, the music industry always keeps surprising. I wish you luck on your journey to interview these guys and dive in and pick their brains, and who knows, you guys might even come up with something during one of your shows, a great idea, and it's nothing like collaboration. That's another thing that's super important here.
No,
I think you
no.
you totally understand this. Like, it's no fun doing it alone. It's all about the team and the group, and no event happens, or no record or album or CD, track or happens without a group of creative people. And that's a great feeling. I've been in the arts for a long time, and all the stuff I've done on my own is very Unabomber manifesto, and yeah, no one needs to see that, right? It's it's good. It's you got to come into the light, right? So it's like right now you and I are collaborating on your exciting new podcast, and I wish you the best of luck with it. And it's exciting because you yourself you're at a really good place. This is great because you're entering this producer. You want to learn, you want to pick their brains, you want to get better. You're actually a great host for that, and I'm excited for you, bud.
Thanks. I really appreciate that, and yeah, I think that feels like a good spot to end. Thanks so much for any final thoughts from you, any final questions, anything unexplored. But that's feeling good.
Yeah, it feels great to be able to understand what you're up to a little more, and also for your listeners. I think it's a great name, Beats and Beyond, because I sit up just in closing here, like I sit up watching a lot of YouTube. Because there's so much now that's getting out there, like interviews with like great producers in the music scene, but also I love movies. I love films and the stories of how movies are made, or the director's story, or what happened on set, or what, that stuff's fascinating, especially when they can draw on these memories of how they all came together to make some of my favorite movies. It's awesome. It's the process. It's so
Yeah.
it's inspiring. As an artist myself, there's nothing better than hearing a couple of cats talk about the process and talk about what they had to go through and the challenges and how they got there, and
Mm.
accidentally, this is what they set out to do, but something else happened, and that could be, a whole uh other conversation, or journey that you can explore with your guests. And I think the podcast is a great platform. It suits you. It's it's exciting, dude. It's exciting. It's an exciting time, I think, in the creative world. I think, as well, as I want to also throw out there. Like, I think it's up to us, the artists, dude. Really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting just how much, there's everybody's online, and everybody, if they so choose, has a voice, has a story to tell, has yeah, like an opinion and something to share. Like, just like what you're saying, like, you just never know what happens. We were working on one of the Trip the System tracks over Christmas, and because we had a Christmas tree set up upstairs, my acoustic guitar was downstairs in the studio, and my friend who I produce with, we were playing one of our tracks. He just grabbed the acoustic and started noodling around. He figured out this beautiful finger picking pattern, and we recorded it, put it in the track. It sounds fantastic. It took the track to a whole other level. It was just like all of a sudden the track just like it's like it opened up, and now it has like some kind of like wings. It just feels so much lighter with that acoustic vibe on a drum and bass track, which was, like, I don't know, maybe I don't hear a lot of drum and bass with acoustic guitar in it,
Yeah.
but it was
Oh,
super nice.
yeah, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
wish you the best with Beats and Beyond. I'm excited for your journey. I see where you're going now with this, and I'll be listening. And just, yeah, keep it real. Find out what's ticking behind the eye sockets of these producers, and the collective, the creative collective cats you want to interview. Good luck.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Ryan, and yeah, just for listeners, but also be able to find it on most streaming platforms. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Google Podcasts is like going through some changes, and so it's turning into I think it's just in like their Play app, their Google Play app. But I also have Beats and Beyond on YouTube as well. And you'll also I post the YouTube video on my website, Boomtown Sound / Beats and Beyond. So
That's great. That's great.
thanks so much.
Anything else you want to promote while we're here, dude? You wanna promote goodwill,
Oh yeah, well,
goodwill to the world, like
yeah,
love and
sure.
dance moves. What It's
Yeah, well, I'm a resident DJ at Moby's
oh,
Pub
nice.
on Salt Spring Island every Friday night. I'm hoping to bring some of those producers into Moby's to play. It's a staple venue on Salt Spring. It's it's a pub. It's not a club. So we're working with the vibe to try and create a little bit more atmosphere. It's got a new owner, young dude who's awesome. So I'm very excited that he's keeping me on. I've been DJing there for the last year and a bit. Just had the 1 year anniversary in November, and I'm excited to bring some guest DJs into that as well. Had our friend Andrew play. I'm hoping to get him in again soon. And yeah, so if you're ever on Salt Spring, come see me at Moby's Pub. But that's all I got going on right now.
And
I'm sticking
Andrew Inner Chill, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that's right.
Love
Yeah.
that guy.
He's
Love
kind
that guy. Inner Chill.
of,
Awesome.
right?
Amazing.
Yeah. You want to find cool underground chill music, electronic music, Inner Chill Records is like, just look them up. It's kind of what opened up my mind to electronic music here on Salt Spring, and it was like, wow, this guy lives on Salt Spring. I live on Salt Spring. This music is incredible. Yeah, he did a lot for the scene here and in British Columbia and the world,
a
really.
pioneer for sure. Big props to Inner Chill. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Laughlin. Anyone out there, if you're listening to this, check it out. Okay, bud. Good luck with your adventure and
All right.
and your podcast. Great to have a chance to interview you and get to know you more, bud.
Thanks, Razza. We'll chat soon. See you later.